May profits be upon you. We're going to take a look at my hot list. What I think are the hottest Forex pairs and a couple of CFDs, like gold and oil. Oil, I actually already dropped a separate video for it. Check it out after you finish with this one. I'll leave a link at the end of this video. But for now, let's take a look at the futures first, the individual currency strength and weakness. I want to just show you why I chose these. I have the Canadian dollar, the Aussie dollar, and the New Zealand dollar top of the list as the weakest. All right. As far as the strongest for this coming week, I'm looking at the yen, the Swiss, and the British pound. Euro and the US dollar, I'm gonna keep an eye on them. All right. They're not as obvious, and we'll see after the first couple of trading days this week. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes, and I'll make some adjustments because I love to trade the Euro USD, the Pound USD, and the rest of them. But the US dollar, I'm going to be very careful with at the very end of the month. This is the last week of the month, and things can get kind of wonky sometimes. All right, so let's take a look at the Canadian dollar. The reason why I'm thinking it's weak is because you can see it had a big drop in September last year, right? And it pulled back, a new swing high. This is the swing low. We've been moving sideways since, but we did not take out the swing high, and we took out what should have been a higher low. It did not break that high. So this isn't a higher low. This is just structure that was broken to the downside. And now we are at the swing low. Testing that swing low, price is going to pull back out. We're going to see that it's already taken out a demand zone here. All right. And the price takes out a demand zone. That means the sellers are in control. So we're waiting for that proper pullback, and we're going to wait for a proper setup for the signal to take to short this market, to short the Canadian dollar. If we go to the Aussie dollar, we can see prices made a low, a new low, lower high, lower low. All right, came all the way up. Look at this. Now, this is October 22nd, 2022. Made it all the way back up here, right? Just enough to sweep that high. But we did not get a break-in close of a candlestick body above that high to signal that price is going up. No, what it did was it turned around and it made all these lows over here, and swept every last one of them. All right. And we have yet to touch this demand zone, which I said weeks ago that that's where I'm waiting for price to come to, this unmitigated demand zone. All right. Prices pulled back and chopped about, right? But it is a corrective move after an impulsive one, and I'm waiting for price to come down further. I left that arrow from 2 weeks ago, all right, and I'm waiting for price to come on down, and it did. You can see that the trend it did make. It is now trading below that trend line. All right, so I'm waiting for it to come on down. This is signaling that we should be taking shorting. We should be shorting the Aussie dollar. If you see the New Zealand dollar, very similar. All right, price went high enough to break that high, right? But only to sweep it, for liquidity. And then we have this impulsive move to the downside, pull back, impulsive move down. We're breaking the structural low here that caused that high. All right, and that's important to note because that's a break in market structure. If we break a market structure to the downside, we're probably breaking demand zones. All right, which we did. Price broke this demand zone here, came down, pulled back up to the demands to the supply that broke this demand. I should have had it drawn out here so that you can see, but I don't do that during the analysis of the futures because it can take up too much time. All right, so we have a flip zone here, and price does come back up to that flip zone, and I'm looking for price to continue downward to this demand zone down here. All right, for the yen, look how strong it is. gapped up. That these red boxes are gaps or price gaps. All right, that price comes to fill and then shoots up. Right. Will price come and fill that at this 2002 major breakout low? We'll find out. But price has been shooting up and looking very strong. We're at supply right now, which price is reacting to. See how it reacted to it Friday. Very big rejection here. All right, down to the demand zone. But this is the site of a of clear resistance turn. The support turned resistance. Right. We have a little trouble getting past it. We finally get a break and a close of a candlestick body above this level, and I'm looking for price quite possibly to pull back and then continue higher. All right. With the Swiss, we have a price gap here. Boom. All right. And price launched clearly breaking those highs and with an intent to go higher. We have a pullback, as you can see. All right. And are we going to see price continue higher? I believe that we will. I believe with the Swiss that it'll continue up to this high. All right. So I'm looking for price to quite possibly flag a little bit, maybe down to here, and then continue higher. We may see a couple of days of price moving back down, as it has moved impulsively to the upside. So you have to expect it to correct, and then we can wait for the next impulsive move. If it should come down here, this will be a very high probability setup for a long trade for sure. All right, but it may just come here and then continue higher. So this one bears watching. All right, I don't see this as a weak currency. I believe it's pretty strong, and not as strong is the pound. The pound has made a swing high here, come back, took out the swing high for liquidity, but there's no break and close of a candle body above it. All right, and then we finally get a convincing break of the candle body below the structural low. So we broke structure to the downside. Right, here we are. Price has yet to break this high, these highs. All right, because it's making a low high, it looks like it may be heading back down. But relative to the other currencies I gave you, CAD, Aussie, New Zealand, what do they have in common? They are currency pairs. They are based in not currency pairs. They are commodity currencies based in commodities. Okay, and they are weak right now, and relative to that, their weakness, the pound is strong, and putting the pound up against these guys while it is moving sideways. All right, putting the pound against the CAD, putting the pound against the Aussie, putting the pound against the New Zealand dollar. I'm looking for price to be bullish. All right, that is my brief of the futures. All right, and we're going to my hot list right now. I don't have time to go through all of these. All right, I'm going to look at the ones that are in yellow. Okay, this one should be yellow. I don't know why it's red. All right, we already I have oil in a different video. Please check it out. All right, let's go to Aussie yen. Aussie yen. What does it say? Quickly, you can see the structure. The structure is kind of sideways, right? All right, but again, we have the Aussie against the yen. The yen is a safe haven, and the commodity pairs are going to underperform against a safe haven. All right, and as the Aussie yen, as AJ flags up, I'm expecting, after a break of market structure, I'm expecting this flag, this corrective structure, to turn bearish at any point, and it did in a big way. It moved impulsively, and it took out the low here. That's why you see that line. And what I want you to know is that if you look on the 4 hour, you can see that on the 4 hour, there is a supply zone that was formed, and I'm waiting for price to flag. All right. There is opportunities to take longs with these flags. I'm not taking it. All right. I'm waiting for price to come back up to the breakout areas. All right. To the breakout areas up in this area. All right. To give me a proper sell setup so I can take that sell down. All right. I'm looking to take that sell after I get my price. I'm looking for price to do its thing here and then come on back down. So that's it on Aussie yen. On CAD yen, being that we're on the yen pair, the yen currency, right? You can see on the daily, I'm looking for pretty much the same kind of deal. You have a demand zone here, right? You got a demand zone here. Price comes down and meets that demand zone, right? Boom. And then look at last week, 3 straight days where we come down into this demand zone. Now, we didn't get a break and candle body break and close below it, but we know this demand zone is looking pretty weak, pretty doggone weak. All right. And if we go to the 4 hour, I'm going to show you something. All right. Sure. I got some areas to look at. Now, this larger one that I'm highlighting right now is a daily zone of supply. All right. Price comes down below it, comes back up on the 4 hour, and then forms a 4 hour zone, and price drops precipitously through that. You like that word, precipitously? All right. So what do we got? On the 4 hour, it has broken that demand zone. All right. It has broken 4 hour demand. And you know, I like to see that flip. All right. I like to see, come on, work with me. All right. I like to see it react to the zone, break the zone, and come back to the supply that is responsible for breaking that zone. I'm looking for price to give me a proper sell setup in this area. Okay. And then I will take a sell and I'll take it all the way down to 9,300 or thereabouts. Does that make sense? I hope it does, because I think it's a pretty high probability setup. All right. If price takes out this high, I'm looking for it to just take what do you call liquidity from that high, and then come on down. You understand? Without breaking that high. Once we see a candle body break and close above that high, that invalidates my sell setup altogether, and I'll be looking for buys. I hope we understand that. All right. If we go to the pound CAD, all right, we have a kind of bullish neutral pound against a weak CAD. What am I looking at? All right. Look at the daily. I want you to see this. This is the macro view. You see these highs, this high, all of them hitting the same area. All right. And a very precipitous drop. All right. Precipitous drop. All right. And all the way back. Here we are. We came all the way back to that same line. Now you would think, hey man, we should be shorting from there. Oh, well, not so fast. Not so fast. Because we have a lot of bullish momentum. You see how price broke that high here, right? It created another push. We pushed back down after an impulsive move. We corrected and actually went higher than that. We are taking out supply. If price is taking out supply zones, that means the buyers are in control. Now, if we go down to the 4 hour, we can take a closer look, and we can see that area, the demand that is responsible for taking out this supply, is waiting right here. If price gives me my price and flags down to this area here, I'll be looking for a buy setup to take above these highs. That's it. That's as simple as that. Okay. Now you might say, but we didn't get a candle body break and close according to your rules, super duper. Super duper RT. Well, you might be right, but it's all about context. Let me show you something. Just taking a minute. All right. There is, I'm looking at it on a daily closing basis, right? We didn't get that daily candle body break and close, but we did get a close right at the same level. Now, combined with the fact that we took out this high, we took out this high. All right. We've taken out the middle of the 50% of the supply zone, and we're up to these highs. I'm considering this zone violated. I'm looking at this demand zone as the one that took it out, and I'm waiting for price to come back so I can take it on up. Now, having said that, it might not make it all the way down here. This would be the highest probability trade, in my opinion. It may not make it all the way down here. It may only come down to here. All right. It may come down to here, dibble dabble, and then finally break that trend line. All right. That's fine too. If I don't get my price down there, I don't get my price, but I'm going to take a proper buy setup. If price gives me my pattern to take my buy setup there on a 4-hour or 1-hour basis, mostly 4-hour. If I can't get it, find my entry pattern, I'm not going to take just a trade just to be trading. All right. I don't have to. I'm waiting for price to give me my price. This area here, this 1.675 area, this might give some confirmation for a demand for a buy, and I'll carefully scrutinize that area. Just letting you know. All right, going down CAD Swiss. This one was easy to see because look at the consolidation here. Price comes down, breaking market structure. All right, flags up, continues down, a very nice drop down. And then what do we have? Consolidation. We have the correction, right? We got all that corrective structure looking, and then we break again the market structure to the downside. This is easy. Price pulls back. This was the optimal entry up there. Just to be honest, just to say that was an optimal area to take a short. All right. And I don't know why. Okay. And if we go down to the 4-hour, you can see that there is a 4-hour supply zone here. If price flags like I think it will, if it corrects up to that area, if I can just get this thing to select, if it corrects up to this area, I would love to take a high probability trade to the downside here, sweeping these highs for liquidity, mitigating this unmitigated zone of supply. I would like to see that happen. That would be a great area to take a short. We're going down to the Aussie US dollar. Aussie US dollar, again, this is a commodity pair against a safe haven, and I believe the US dollar will outperform the Aussie dollar, but it may start towards the middle of the week. All right, you can see on a daily basis that price has made it down. All right, just making its way down, weak, as the Aussie is weak against the US dollar as it drags it down. And we see that it flagged. We have a very nice bear flag here, right? And you can see the support line of this channel. Price has just traded below it, I'm going to take a closer look at this. All right. You see, this was this was Thursday. I mean, this was Friday. This is today. Okay. Wow. And well, I'm watching this with bated breath, to be honest with you. I want to see if price will reclaim this this trading range. All right. I want to see if price gets back above. If this holds, then we're going to be looking at a very nice setup for a short. If we go to the 4-hour, you can see how price 1, 2, 3 popped up in here like that. All right. But the 4-hour did close. The 4-hour did close below the support line of this ascending channel. All right. Will it hold here is the question. All right. I'm looking for price to maybe pull back, maybe flag up a little higher, maybe up around this area right here. All right. I have another area up here that I'm watching. All right. So if price comes up here, I will take, if it sets up for a high probability trade, I will take it. Why not? Why wouldn't I? Okay. If I can get rid of these lines I just drew, that'd be nice. All right. So I want to also point out that there is a supply zone here. And there's a supply zone right here. Right here. All right. Now, here's the deal. These are chain. Prices are already traded into both of these zones. All right. Prices are already traded into both of these zones. They're not unmitigated. All right. You see how we have this, the way this is set up, you know, with this drop, we're going into a fair value gap. And that's always nice to see. So I'm looking at that as a possible, once the fair value gap is filled, maybe price will find resistance up here. All right, right around the same levels here. One, look, two, right? You see it here. You see it here. You see it here. You see it here. All right, so if price comes back up in there, and it looks like it wants to, price comes back up here, I'm looking for price to hold there, and maybe if we get a proper sell setup, you know, it might be a good spot to take it. All right, price is in action right now. Aussie Swiss. Let's take a look. All right, same kind of deal. All right, prices swing low. All right, low and lows and stuff, and then we break that flat, and then comes up, and then we break the low. I love it when it does that, because then when it comes back up here, I'm looking for price to maybe flag up to this area, but you know, it may not get this high. Let me show you what I mean. Looking at it right now and saying, will it get that high? I have a 4-hour supply drawn here because it made a very nice bearish engulfer, and that is a very bearish flag of a very bearish candlestick pattern, right? But it hasn't broken the low. You know, it's not like it is proven to have done something, so I can't put a whole lot of stock in it. All right, it has to have broken structure or something. All right, up here. All right, this is where this impulse starts. All right, and there is supply up here. If price decides to take out that high, all right, use it as inducement to get people to take sells early, just to have them sweep the stop losses and then come up here, then I will look for a proper sell setup. All right, I think that would work out nicely. What am I doing here? Come on, get out. There you go. All right, you're not working. All right, let's try it this way. Oh, there you go. Sometimes my buttons just don't work right. All right, so, oh, I see something stuck here. There you go. I don't know what's going on with it, with my keyboard. All right, so what am I looking for? I'm looking for price to flag up. Maybe it sweeps these highs. All right, and then we'll get a nice setup for a sell. All right, that's what I'm looking for. So that's on a 4-hour. All right, on the daily, be careful. Don't just jump into this one. All right, wait for a proper setup. All right, otherwise you can get swept up as liquidity as it goes higher, sweeps this high, maybe mitigates higher here, and then goes down, because price could do this. You understand? Then come down. All right, this will give us a channel. All right, so just be careful. Just be careful. Just don't jump in there and anything just too fast. All right, this is the gold, and I believe this is the last one. Yes, going into gold. Now, what do I have? Marubozu. Marubozu. Why do I have that written there? Because there's a Marubozu candle. Look, I can't even get this thing right. All right, it's Marubozu candle right there. Look. All right, now you got to look really close to see that there is the slightest hint of a wick on either side of this candle. All right, but the point is, the bulls controlled that session from beginning to end. That is a very bullish candle, and it signals that price is probably going to have some follow through afterwards. So after every impulsive move comes the corrective move, all right, with more of the same, more momentum, the momentum to continue afterwards. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at. All right, sorry, I don't know what just happened there. What was that? Okay. All right, so I don't know. I like that Marubozu candle. All right, but I have some zones that I'm looking at. I'm looking at taking buys from here or here. If it comes down to here, this has the most confluence. All right, you can see the lows are connected for a trend. It made a new high here. I'm looking for price to quite possibly do something like that there. That would be a high probability trade if it comes down to that lower demand zone. All right, this is a daily. Actually, I think this is a weekly demand zone. Yeah, it is. All right. But if it comes down here, we have the confluence of the trend line and all of that good stuff. Here, because it's bullish, because this is a very impulsive move, we gotta look for a pullback of some kind. All right, this demand here is fairly weak, but it's at the point. Oh, sorry, it's at the point of the breakout here, right below the breakout. So if it comes here, this might hold and give us a proper demand, proper buy setup once it gets here. So I'm going to watch this zone when the price does reach here, because I believe it will. All right. But I want to see a close, a daily candle body break and close above that high to signal that price is definitely going higher. All right. And where would it go? Over here, because there are relative equal highs here. And I do believe that price will will sweep these those liquidity pools that are located there. All right, and I believe that's what's the draw on price right now, even as we speak. All right, so with price pulling back, there's opportunities for shorts. There's always opportunities for that to take advantage of a pullback. But I personally would like to take the higher probability trade with the trend. All right, for you day traders out there that are watching your charts all the time, hey, you can take those all day. There's always opportunities going counter trend or pro trend. I'd rather go pro trend myself. All right, so if price comes on down here, great. If it comes here, I'm going to watch that price action on the 4-hour to see if it gives me a proper buy signal. All right, but the sell from up here, I think this is a pretty good sell. All right, if you're into that, if you want to go counter trend, I want to go pro trend myself. All right, so that's it. I'm hoping that you enjoyed this session, and I know it's coming late in the day. The market is already opened up and everything, but it's my Sunday, and this is how this is what happened today. All right, but give me some feedback on the my hot list. Do make sure you check out the oil video. I'll put it in, I'll put it up here for you on the screen so that you can just click on it, and you let me know if you're looking at these the ones I chose, and maybe during the week I'll be able to do something with the US dollar pairs. Okay, I'll see you in the next video. May profits be upon you, and take care.